Greetings! Welcome to the devlog for experimental build 4 of update 114 of hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades. We're going to start off with a big sound check, just to make sure your speakers aren't up too high. Ah, wonderful. So what have we got for you this week? Well, as you can see, I am in dual display mode so that you can see my left and my right eye at the same time, because we're going to be showing off some more night vision and thermal functionality, more of which you will be able to actually test this week. That's right, the stuff that I'm showing you this week with its added functionality is now in the item spawner. They're all testing objects, meaning that these aren't the final representations of these things. Let's go ahead and get ourselves a testing platform to shoot on. Maybe we'll actually, let's just grab under carbines. I have some favorites. We're gonna grab our M4A1 Block 2. Beautiful. Grab that. Actually, you know what? Let's pull that back out. Let's get ourselves some tracers, because that's always more fun at night. Fill held object tracers. Wonderful. Wonderful. So, coming on over here, it is very dark over here, so let's solve that problem by getting ourselves an easier way to see. Oops, that is one of the thermals. Here they are. So, I showed you this last week. We have a head mount display, which we can put on, and we can sort of grab it. We can hit up on the touchpad or BY and toggle it. We can pull it off, affix it to a different eye. That is as it was before, but we've got two more testing pairs of night vision that I'm very excited to show off. The first is a proper pair of binoculars, which you can see here. It's super interesting because I've been talking with Ole about this, that it's funny how the moment that you put on a simulated pair of headgear in an HMD, it almost sort of like masks all of the quote-unquote visual problems of VR, because, you know, night vision goggles aren't great to wear, and so anything that is sort of terrible about being in an HMD just kind of feels appropriate, because we're pretending we're wearing a big heavy pair of night vision goggles. So something to be aware of when using these, obviously, is that this camera is no longer where your eye is. It's a little further out. So you can probably see in the periphery there that the image of this carbine doesn't quite match up in the goggles compared to around it. And that's because of the distance between this optic and my actual eyes. Where this matters is in pulling up a rifle. In real life, if I tried to shoulder this super closely, I would just smack into my head and goggles, but that doesn't happen in H3, and so that does mean that we can clip our view into a weapon because of where this is located. And so in general, you're probably, if you're going to be running head mount goggles like this, you are going to want to accommodate them with your setup. So one of the things that I've been doing has been using a riser and placing my optic a good deal forward. I know some of you have been watching me a long time are like, oh, here's Anton with his way too far forward optics doing his weird stuff. Well, now I have even more of a reason. So if I put an MRO on this on top of a riser and pull this up even with a fully shortened stock, it's going to be nice and high up. The gun isn't going to clip into the NVGs. In real life, this would give me tons of leeway. Oh, that is just such a cool effect. I just love the dimming from the brightness. Though the NVGs do reveal that the particle effect I'm using for that explosion is actually an unlit particle effect, which is way too bright in a night scene. So I should probably change that at some point. Come on. There we go. We were shooting over it. Way too much fun. And some folks have asked, so of course you've got to have it. Let's pull these off. you can in fact mount quad nods, which feels super weird, especially because like the perceptual like I'm aware of the fact that there's 4 views here, but when you're wearing them, it doesn't feel like that. It feels like you're looking out of 3 of them, because 2 of them are binocular and overlap, and then 2 of them are going like out like this. And it's even funnier because they obviously like they respond to illumination differently, and my hands glow because that's just the aesthetic of the game. That is something we're gonna fix, by the way. I'll talk about that later. It means that it's very easy to make the luminance of each of these views change a lot, but it occurs even when firing a weapon. Oh, that is just so neat! I'm so excited for this. It just, you know, I'll be perfectly honest. I didn't understand a while back when some of you more milsimmy nerds, would always bring up, hey, can you do night vision? Hey, blah 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 blah. Wouldn't it be cool if you added this? And I didn't get it at all. I didn't really get the appeal of it. It was sort of confusing to me why it was requested so much, and I gotta say, now that I actually have this in VR, this feels just like super neat, and the ways in which this are all imperfect, and the way that night vision stinks is all super interesting to experience in VR. So yeah, so let's pull those off for a moment. What we also have to play with is put that there, pull that off here, is we have the same sort of testing units. These are all just Ghost DRs, temporarily configured. That's because I just wanted a good testing unit with a quick 1 and 4x swap. Remember, you can just pull your controller up here, and let's see, what's it? It's at 1x now. Here it is at 4. I'm going to pull this way far back so that it's really big on the screen. So here's just a Gen 1 night vision. Actually, no, that's up at 4. Oh, interesting. That is not actually displaying that correctly. I need to fix that. But we've got some new options we can change. So if we pull open the scope menu, anything that is a night vision scope now has this night vision color option. So we're taking a look at it in green US style. Here is the Russian tone of green. Note that these are just, the color is actually slightly different unit to unit to unit. So these are more like exemplars of these tones, but in real life there's a little more variation. It's not exactly one specific RGB tone. We've got the white phosphor look, which I just love. We have red, which just feels ominous, like we're in a freaking horror movie. It just, either that or we've like picked up a quad damage or something like that. Forgot you can see both my eyes, so I might as well aim with my right eye. And amber, which also just has a really cool vibe. I'm really digging that. So yeah, so these are in here, and these can be located. Let's see if they actually came up here correctly. These should be, oh yeah, they're right at the front on scopes and magnifiers. You can see testing NV scope 1, 2, 3, and 4, which are the different generations. And then we've got 5 thermals. They're the same parameters that you saw last time I showed these off. So this is the real terrible one. Oh my gosh, that's just awful. Let's spawn ourselves some SOSIG so we can really see what these look like. Scout. Boop. Boop. Let's get some more distant ones. Just because I find that until you get targets really, really small, you don't really notice just how much that smaller resolution that it works with matters. I am just continuing. Did I turn off gravity accidentally? Yes, gravity for player. Realistic. Wow, that's hilarious. I have no idea how I set that accidentally. Dirt, 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 dirt. So we're back over here. This is our just absolutely trash tier thermal optic with its very, very low frame rate. I just love it. And I believe this is the Arctic LUT. So with these testing units, you can try all of these out with any of the different coloration patterns that you want. It's called Thermal Color Map. It's available on all of the testing units. Yes, that's Arctic. This is Black Hot. Oh, that motion blur is so cool. What is this? Globo. Looks super cool. Oh, that is so amazing. Love it. Let's get a slightly higher frame rate one here. This is our, like, still very cheap. I believe this is emulating a cheap handheld. And actually taking a look at all of the different, because I had only shown off 5 of them. This is green outline. That is really nice and high visibility. I like that. You know, actually, seeing as we're doing single eye stuff, let's swap off the dual view super quick. There we go. That should just be showing my left eye now. So let's see. Yeah, there's green outline. Got Iron Bow, which is a personal favorite. I just love that hue range. Did I lose my SOSIG panel out there when I had lost gravity? Oop, we are beneath the ground. That's fascinating. I found another bug. It looks like some of this is not tagged. Weird. So I can walk on this in smooth locomotion, but I can't teleport on it? We are going to have to fix that later. This is what happens when Anton doesn't spend enough time in his very old scenes in the game. Is that dumb stuff like that ends up being broken for way too long. Oh yeah, that looks so cool. So cool! Love this fire rate. Let's swap out again. Let's get something a little even more expensive. Actually, we'll use it zoomed up, because I want to see how that looks. So we were just looking at Iron Bow. Here's Nightmare. Wow, that is that's definitely nightmarish. It's wild seeing this in, like, high frame rate. There's still obviously a little bit of ghosting and motion blur with it because of the speed, but way more close to a real-time view. Which, oddly enough, kind of, like, makes it less pretty. And we got Outdoor Alert. That one's pretty cool. Overlay. Honestly, I think overlay might be an absolute winner. This makes targets just pop right out. Rainbow, which is just a little fatiguing on the eyes over time. And then we got White Hot. Very classic looking. Very old school thermal view. And we got Yellow. Cool. You know, I just realized I don't think I'd taken a look at what these look like. This is the, like, really expensive to draw one with the outlines. Oh yeah, that looks so cool. And you get just, like, because of the fact that this is blending with a not quite white color, you're probably going to get some very, like, interesting color interference with that. Oh, that's so neat. Take on me. Oh my God, you're such a dork, Anton. Globo. Oh yeah, man, these look so cool with the outlines. Remember, this is the more expensive one to draw. It's basically drawing. This is the, like, cost of 2 scopes. So just be aware of that, those of you who are running with weaker systems. So cool. This one has like Halo vibes to it. Oh, that's so great with the way it outlines the chunks. Oh. I apologize to anyone who ever asked for this stuff, and I blew them off with a like, why would you want that? I was completely wrong. This is just so neat. Kablamo. So yeah, so that just about does it. That is what this this next experimental build is about. Let's jump out of VR. I want to talk about the other stuff that the problems that doing some of this stuff have revealed and my plans to work on them.
Yo. So out of VR, what else is going on? So basically, just like how the implementing thermals revealed all of these things that would have to be done for that feature to work, which I'm still working on. There's still a lot of prefabs to migrate over to having object temperature definitions. The night vision has provoked some problems as well, like your glowing hands are bright enough that it actually changes like the auto gain on the night vision. So once Ole is currently away on a much needed vacation, but once he's back from that, I was going to sit down with him and figure out all of the things that need essentially replacement rendering while viewing them through a night vision scope, just from a UX standpoint, so that it doesn't really mess with it. In addition, it has also demonstrated that the all of the like red dot and reflex sites are way too bright when using night vision. It sort of blows them out and you get these very, very thick reticles. Some of them are prominent enough that they actually affect the auto gain. And so I really do need to go back and do what I had originally planned to do, which was a migration of the red dot sites onto a more modern interaction UI with some ability to change the luminance of them. So that's going to stink. And I don't know when I'm going to fully do that, but that is now on the eventual to-do list. I need to finish. I'm probably going to finish the lasers first, just to get that out, and we may end up like shipping like a full build once we're positive that the code stuff is done and we've got a couple realistic exemplars of night vision and thermal stuff sort of like fully finished and into the game, just so that this experimental and alpha cycle doesn't, you know, take forever. So but that is the focus. And as I said, I'm still working and tinkering on the idea of having the agents be somewhat reactive to luminance differences. I need to actually migrate a bunch of my scattered notes into like some code mockups to make that happen. I just keep getting distracted. But that continues to be the focus. I look forward to one very important thing. There are some known issues right now involving scope recursive rendering. So what I mean by this is that like right now, if you're wearing a pair of binoculars or quad nods, if you view another scope through them, even if you have the like maximum scope count and recursive settings technically high enough, you won't be able to see that scope necessarily in all eyes. I'm not sure what's causing it, but we'll fix it in the next like week or two. But yeah, so I play with them there. As I said, they're in the item spawner. I don't know. I don't think they'll show up in Take and Hold because they are classified as a different type of attachment. I think they'll actually show up in Ricky Dicky Random, but that's probably the only place that they'll naturally show up. But you can always spawn them in the item spawner, try them out in Institution, and just tell me how they feel. If you end up coming up with any like cool clips of yourself using the night vision in context and Take and Hold, I would of course love to see them like on the subreddit, in the Discord, wherever. So anywho, I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you soon. Peace.